friends, welcome back to my book channel. My name is Olivia, and as you saw in the title of this week's video, we're going to be doing the TBR wheel picks my November TBR. I feel like it's been a little while since I've sat down and actually filmed something, so I'm feeling especially enthusiastic because I love these videos and it's really nice just having some direction in terms of what I'm gonna read that month. So, as usual, I have the pile of books that I'm going to be choosing from right here. And then there's a few in the spinner wheel that are either on Kindle Unlimited or I have them checked out from the library. So hopefully those get picked. I'm really excited. We have some new releases and some books that I haven't gotten to yet from my October video, but we're not going to talk about that. We're just going to jump right into the November TBR. I'm so excited. Let's do it. Okay, so I'm recording my screen. I have the image picker wheel pulled up, and I'll link this website that I'm using, by the way, if anybody else wants to try this at home themselves. But as you can see, a lot of the books in this TBR picker, TBR wheel are also right here. And you can safely assume that the ones that aren't are either Kindle Unlimited or, again, I'm checking them out from my library. So without further ado, we are going to spin. I always get a little bit nervous, but it's okay. I'm pumped. I'm ready. Oh my gosh, I had no idea which of the two it was. Okay, so our first book is The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. But my understanding of this book is it's basically a workplace romance. And the two main characters, Lucy and Joshua, are competing for the same job, I believe. And apparently it's not just dislike, not begrudgingly tolerate, hate. So I'm guessing this is just an enemies to lovers, good old romance. So I'm definitely going to try my hardest to actually get to this in November. Last time when I did this video, I put these books back here. I think I'm just going to do that again. I'm not on the level of having a book cart yet, but we'll get there. Okay, spinning again. What's it going to be? Oh my gosh, which one is it? Wow. Okay, the next book that the TBR wheel has chosen is The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. I don't actually own this book yet, so we're going to be using this one as a stand-in because I do own it. But The Assassin's Blade is the prequel to the Throne of Glass series. I've mentioned it before, but I really want to work my way through the Throne of Glass series the end of this year and the beginning of next year. This year, my big series goal was reading the entire ACOTAR series, so I think for 2024, it's going to be reading the Throne of Glass series, just making my way through it. And I've actually already read about half of the series, and I did do a reread of this last month, which is, guys, this book is just so good if you haven't read it before. And I haven't actually read the prequel, which is Assassin's Blade. But if you're not familiar with this series, this basically follows a girl named Selena, and our book starts off with her in these mines in a city called Endovier, I think. And she, long story short, is a world famous assassin, and she gets selected to compete in this tournament to become the king's assassin, the king's champion. And there's a lot of fun action scenes, and there's some romance, and honestly guys, this series is just so good, and I'm really happy that I'm making my way through the series. And I'm also just so excited that Assassin's Blade got chosen because now I can go get it and read it. And yeah, I'm very pumped. But this is your sign to go read the series if you haven't yet, because it's just so much fun. What's it gonna be? The way I get so excited for certain books to be picked. Okay, so the next book that got chosen by our TBR wheel is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. This is an OG BookTok book. Fun fact about me, I actually do not have TikTok. It's an app I've never downloaded. I do not use it. But I remember when this book went crazy, and sometimes when books get really hyped up, I just don't want to read them. I don't know why. I'll work on that. And I never got to this. And then I randomly found it in a little free library in my neighborhood, and I picked it up, and I've been wanting to read it, and now I'm so excited. I don't actually really know what this is about, surprisingly. I'm pretty sure, yeah, it says it's about a PhD candidate named Olive, and I'm pretty sure she fake dates. Is it her professor or her TA or something? Her hotshot professor, Adam Carlson. So, I don't know if I'm going to like this. I've never read anything by Ali Hazelwood, but a lot of romance book lovers really love Ali Hazelwood. I definitely love the romance genre. So I do think that it'll be fun to actually just pick this up and get into it and see what Ali Hazelwood is all about. So yeah, I'm really excited for this. I've been waiting for this to get chosen. Actually, I had like the wheel and then the TBR jar, and now we're back to the wheel, and it finally got picked. So yes, The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. I'm going to be so completely honest with you guys. Whether or not the TBR wheel chooses A Curse for True Love, I will be reading it. I may or may not have read both the first and second book of that series in October, just so I would be prepared for the new release of A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. And then I also had Fourth Wing on my October TBR. Didn't get to it. I'm so sorry, guys. I did read a lot of books in October. They just didn't end up being the ones that my TBR wheel picked, and you'll hear about that and why that is in, I think, the next video that I have going out. But I really do just want to read Fourth Wing, so let's hope that the TBR wheel works in my favor and picks those two, because I've just been dying to get to them. Let's see, what's it going to be? There should be some kind of rule where the wheel can't pick the same book again. All right, let's spin again. We are already doing The Assassin's Blade, so. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, the next book that has been chosen is Anxious People by Friedrich Bachmann. Interestingly, you guys, this TBR wheel is choosing books that have been on my shelf for ages. Like, I swear the books that are left are the new ones. Like, this has been on my shelf for so long. Some of these have been on my shelf for so long. But honestly, it might be time to just like pick all of these up. Yeah, but this happens to be one of those books. I've heard amazing things about this book. I just tend to lean towards romance and fantasy and like certain kinds of fiction. And for some reason, I just haven't felt like called to read this book. But maybe in the month of November, it's going to be the time. November could just be the month where I tackle all the books that have been sitting on my shelf for a while, so then I can just do some book shopping and book thrifting and good stuff. That would be so great. But I do this every time. I go to read the back of the book. There's nothing there. So that's always a little bit upsetting. But I'm pretty sure that this book is just like a quirky little fictional story about a failed bank robber who bursts in and takes a group of strangers hostage. And then I think they all maybe work together or something. But again, this is one of those books that I've had a few of you guys be like, Olivia, pick it up, read it, you're going to love it. And I really believe you. I feel like this is a book that I'm going to love. And my friends who've read this have rated it really highly on Goodreads. So I think it may be time. But that is Anxious People by Friedrich Bachmann. This is not good because I read about 4 to 5 books every month. That's like been my average lately. And there's definitely some books in here that like I said before, I am definitely going to be reading. So we'll see if the TBR wheel wants to choose Fourth Wing or A Curse for True Love or anything that the library has ready for me. Let's see. Oh my gosh, this thing keeps picking the same books. Okay, we're going again. Running it back. You've got to be kidding me. Third time's a charm. Oh my gosh. Yes! I'm unwell. I don't even know how to talk about this book. I think I've mentioned this before in videos that I'm really not a huge like go to the bookstore or like go to Barnes and like buy a bunch of books. I think often in the book community, it's not really talked about that often that like book shopping is really expensive. And I don't know, like it can genuinely be a very expensive hobby to maintain. And I do my best to really balance like thrifting and using my library and reading books on Kindle Unlimited. And then when there's a book that I really, really want, and I love to just go to Barnes and Noble for the vibes or like go get inspiration and then like try to find the books for cheaper or from my library. But every so often I cave, and I just read Once Upon a Broken Heart and The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. I read both of those in October because I was putting them off because I knew, guys, the second book ends on quite the cliffhanger. Okay? Ends on quite the cliffhanger. And so everyone that I saw reading these books was really mad that they had to wait for this to come out. So my little strategy was wait. Wait to read those until this came out, and that's exactly what I did. So I was at Barnes & Noble just browsing, and I saw this on the new releases table, and I had to get it. And A Curse for True Love is the third book and the final book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. And if you guys haven't heard of this series before, it's basically about this girl named Evangeline who goes on a little adventure, we'll say. She ends up making a deal with a fate. She makes a deal with the Prince of Hearts, because the person that she was engaged to, or the person that she was in love with, is engaged to someone else. So she makes a deal. But you learn pretty quickly you're not supposed to make a deal with fates. And she goes on this whole journey with him. And it's honestly so fun. People like love this series. Like so many people I've seen gave the second book 5 stars. For me, this is just like a good fantasy series. I'm not like obsessed with it or anything. Please don't come for me if you feel differently. Everyone has a right to their opinions. If you love this series, that's awesome. I really, really like it. And like from the first to the second book, I felt like it kept getting better. So I definitely wanted to pick this up. And again, it ended on just such a cliffhanger that I went for it. And guys, I'm having such a ball. Can you guys tell that I drank coffee right before filming this video? But if you take off the dust jacket, it has this gorgeous shiny cover. And if you know, you know. You guys can tell this says The Ballad of the Archer and the Fox. That's not the title of this book. That's something that you'll understand if you do decide to read the series, but I just think it's so gorgeous. But yeah, can you tell that I'm so pumped that this book got picked? I think I'm literally going to start this tonight. I just finished my last book this morning. Okay, let's go through the official November TBR. I'm very excited. And just as a reference, just going to put this out there. I don't expect myself to read all these books. This is more of like guidance. Like if I don't know what to read, I should come to this pile, but I am just going to, follow what I feel like reading at the end of the day, because I don't know, reading's supposed to be fun. I don't think it should be super structured. So yeah, enough of that. The first book that I'll be reading is A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. The next book is Anxious People by Friedrich Bachman. Then we have The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. Next up we have, this is Throne of Glass, but it's standing in for The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. And finally we have The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. Okay guys, these are the books. I'm actually really pumped. Surprisingly, sometimes when books get picked that have been on my shelf for a little while, I get a little bit less enthusiastic about them. I'm like, I don't know. If I haven't picked it up before, why do I want to pick it up now? But I think it's going to feel really good to make my way through some old books and some new books. So yeah, I'm so excited. I will see you guys soon. Sorry I missed an upload last week. Like I said, I was traveling. But yeah, I hope you guys are having a fantastic day and a fantastic reading month. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay, bye.